Okay, so I originally wanted to do a video that was basically just me complaining about why, whenever I go into random co-ops, it's just awful. Like, when you play PvP, you're playing like the top 10 best people in this game. And when you go into co-op, you're like your co-op partner, when you're doing random co-op, you're randomly paired because these are both random, right? Like when you're paired in PvP, it's random, and when you're paired in co-op, it's random. I mean, like to an extent, right? Um, and and whenever you play PvP, like you're playing like the best of the best top 10 people of the world, and then when you go into co-op with a random person, you're just like you're playing against somebody with who's like, let's this is my stasis thunderer deck that I want to test out. You're just like, what even is this? So I want you to understand something, and if you don't understand how Demon Hunter works, or why the Demon Hunter deck is one of the best decks that does 180 billion damage. So Boss is one of the best players in the game. He might be the best player in the game. I can't remember. He's top 10. He's top 10. It's not the best. I've seen I forgot who was the top two. But I just did a Demon Hunter side video where it was just the gameplay of the one of the best people in the world getting beaten. And Boss is like up there. He's top 10. He has one of the highest crits, 6346 crit. He is running a Demon Hunter deck. And he has like the best equipment, right? Equipment factors in, right? But essentially it's a Demon Hunter deck, and it's Enchant Sword, Witch, Summoner, Dryad. And it's the standard build for Demon Hunter, as you can see. His partner, or the person that he's playing against, it also basically has the exact same deck, minus the Harlequin, and he's running Mermaid instead of Zeus. It's like the budget-friendly version. What did he substitute? Instead of having a max Summoner, he has a max Harlequin, and that, in and of itself, it makes the deck significantly weaker. And I feel like he might have been able, like he also has, it's a mirror match. And so the 5231 crit is also a factor as well, because it's a mirror match. If it wasn't a mirror match, like more times out of none, the Demon Hunter deck with the Mermaid would win. But there are factors here that you have to understand, before I show you my co-op gameplay. So Summoner, the reason why it's great is because of Gift of the Ancestors and One with Nature. Both are giving you bonus damage and crit percentage, or crit damage as well. And that's why the 1315 talent on Summoner is just being in every deck. It replaces Harlequin because Harlequin doesn't give you crit damage, or it doesn't give you any bonuses. In fact, if you copy stuff, it takes away bonuses, so it's even worse. Witch, obviously, Gift of the Raven. Gift of the Raven, you're getting buffs up to 30 stacks. So the Witch is also giving your Demon Hunter stacks, or giving your Demon Hunter damage. Dryad, Fairy of Rage. The Fairy of Rage Dryad, if you use all 20 fairies, you can get a bonus additional damage of 50%. Enchant Sword. Enchant Sword with Awakening, double power, and he's actually using a Proving Glance, which is interesting, to remove negative effects. I think Eternal Gaze is just better, but he's using Eternal Gaze probably because he is not running Mermaid, and this allows him to not run Mermaid, and he's running double counter spells. He's running triple counter spells. He's running 3 counter spells, which all on Magic Council, Magic Council, Magic Council, Magic Council. And that's all he needs, because Demon Hunter is the best card in this game right now. And let me show you the exact opposite of what a Demon Hunter can do. This is my free-to-play account. I was just jumping into random games, even though I could play myself, and just beat everything all the time. But every so often, I don't want to, I don't know, I don't want to, like, be bothered with, like, 2 separate accounts, or 2 separate games. Even though it's, the same game, but I have to play one side and then play the other side. It's I don't know. Sometimes I just want to jump into randoms just to annoy myself, I guess. I guess that's the easiest example. I want to jump into regular random games against people to test how good this deck can be. And And I think it's really good. I just upgraded my summoner, so I have enhanced summoning, obviously shaman, and then vampire. I have 2 talents. The first talent is the only thing that matters. But this guy was playing Demon Hunter, and he was running, first off, he's running Trickster. Trickster is the worst hero. This is also a testament to why never to run Trickster. Never run Trickster, ever. It is not good in literally any situation. All other heroes are probably better, because this is not a game where you deny resources. There is a deck for that, and with that deck, you need Necromancer, not Trickster. Trickster is not going to help you if you build that deck. This is not a mana denial game. If anything, you're supposed to be running Mage Robes for that, and then you can passively obtain that, which makes Trickster even worse. It is a damage-based game. This guy is obviously running Shaman, probably because this is presumably the deck that he just runs in PvP, and he hasn't built a co-op version of this deck, because there's no reason for Shaman co-op. Don't run it. You should not be shamaning your opponent. Your opponent should be shamaning you. There should only be one offense deck, and the other deck should be a support deck. If you run support, the new the new system is that you will be paired with somebody who has an offensive unit. His offensive unit is a reasonably leveled up Demon Hunter. He has Absorption of Evil, which is correct. Do not run Twilight Hunting anymore. Cloak of Shadows is fine because he has no way of getting rid of debuffs. He's not running Mermaid. Mermaid would be a better choice, even if he didn't have the level 5, mostly because it's still better than Trickster. But any damage-based hero would be better. Bestie would be better than Trickster at this point. Trainer would obviously be better than Trickster, because you could nuke down bosses, and then all of the obvious ones. Cloak of Shadows is fine. Stealth Attack is probably not the better of the two. I feel like I see more people running the other one with the Summon-ins, and that one's obviously better. So he is running his support setup, Summoner with Enhanced Summoning, which means he's not getting the bonus damage from that. He's not running Witch. He's not running Enchant Sword. He's not running Trapper. He's not running Chemist. He has no way of upgrading his power any more than the base damage and his crit levels. And he's running a regular sword, a epic level 6 sword. Thankfully, it is on Magic Council, but that doesn't matter. He's running Knight Armor, which doesn't matter. And he's running, of all things, Magic Amulet. For no reason. There is no reason that Magic Amulet should be in this deck at all. And then if you're wondering, and I want to see if you can guess, is the Fairy of Growth. That is correct. If you didn't already guess, he has been running Fairy of Growth, as opposed to Fairy of Rage. Fairy of Rage, he was never going to get to 20 stacks, because if you've been watching him play, he has been using, he's been Harley Quinning every single Demon Hunter, and I have no idea why. He hasn't sent me this, he sends it to me here, I think. He hasn't been sending me the curse, which he can easily just send it to me. And my very specific reason whenever I play level 13 co-op is I usually wait until after Dark Priest, because that shows me what kind of player you are. He merged out his 2 units so that he doesn't need Dark Priest debuff on the board, because I am not going to build up a board where your level 7 gets Dark Priested and then we just can't win. The other thing is I usually, sometimes, like if he's reasonably building up a board, I don't want him to get bedlammed, right? So that's when I summon in. He hasn't given me a thumbs up. He hasn't given me any indication that I should help him, but I'm just like, all right, well, he's built up his board. He merged out the 2 units with the Dark Priest. It should be fine. He's a reasonably good player. Like he's not great, but he's a reasonably good player. Even if his like deck building decisions are poor and his equipment choices are terrible. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna summon in. I like playing this because I like playing against players that have chosen to go into co-op level 13 with the deck that they have and see if me shamaning their entire board to max even fucking matters. Because most of the time, it doesn't. And I don't understand. It's not even just necessarily that the players are bad, or sometimes, like, you know, like my joking example is of let's try out my Stasis Thunderer deck. It's not even just that. People who build offensive decks, like, this is a reasonably offensive deck. It's not a good offensive deck, but it is an offensive deck. Like, it's a level, I don't know, at least a level 13 Demon Hunter with the third talent. It's at least a level 13 Demon Hunter, which is solid. He has like 2,500 crit, which is solid. You have to have at least 2,000 crit to even go into a co-op level 13 game. And like, his deck choices aren't great, but I can work with it. I was like, if I can shaman him, and this is my entire thing on doing this. If I can shaman him enough, can he even win? Can we even win if I give him a full, like, level 7 board? And part of that is just me, like, liking to try. I like trying to see how many shamans I can send with this build. It is a very aggressive shaman build as opposed to doing multiple split support units, as opposed to running like Witch and Clock. Or Shaman, Witch, and Clock, and then Harlequin. I think the base setup that you should probably use is Harlequin, Witch, Clock, Shaman, Mime. I think that's the 5. I think Mime is funny, but I don't think it's necessarily the best setup. If your opponent is a good player, you should be able to Harlequin all of your Shamans, mime all of your Shamans, summon Witches onto each other, merge out Clocks up to level 3. If you have a level 3 or above Clock, leave it on the field, and then you just condense like that. I wanted to do like an aggressive Shaman build, so I'm able to merge down units with my Vampire. So I get more usages out of my Harlequins and my Shaman, or my Harlequins and my Mimes, which means I get more Shamans. My Summoner, in a pinch, if I'm not getting mana blocked, I don't even have to merge my Shaman or my Summoners together. I can literally just leave it on the field, do all the other things with everything else, and then hit the Summoner button, and then it'll give me stuff. And then hit the Summoner button, and it'll give me stuff. And then that's giving you free mana. Sorry about that. And then that's giving you free mana. The Mari is also helpful because I'm able to subtly kill my field, speeding up the game a little bit. Not too much, but it does something. It does something more than nothing. I was running Snowflake specifically to stop Bedlam, so I could get double Bedlamed. But I think that Mari works probably a little bit better. Because you're able to insta-kill your field, or a part of it, and it speeds up the game a little bit. And then it gives you extra mana. It gives them mana, but they don't necessarily need mana. And so, this is where we are. He is able to beat a reasonable amount of things. He beat the Bedlam. He beat the Kitsune with the Bedlam. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, we have a game. Like, this might actually work. So, if you notice, like, my, the amount of mana that I have, I have 16,000 mana. And I've managed to make his field go to 83 merge ranks. I was wondering what the maximum amount is. And with 15... spots on the board, if you have a full board, and he full boarded Demon Hunter, there's 7 merge ranks. 7 times 15 is 105 merge ranks. You can get to 105 merge ranks if you have a full a full Demon Hunter board. Why am I always at 15%? I don't know if you've noticed, but in like my last... Actually, what am I doing? I can actually plug this in because I'm using... I apologize for my headset. Whenever I use my old phone, my charge port is really... it's really bad because it's an old phone. And that's the phone that I use for my free-to-play account, which is what this is. So whenever I do videos on my free-to-play account, I always use my regular headset. Because I don't trust there we go. See, I have my phone plugged in, but it's very, very sensitive. So if I even kind of move my phone, it has the ability to shut off. I apparently do not know how to charge my phones. The past couple of videos that I've made, I've just always been at 15%. And I don't understand why. I'm just like, oh, my battery's at 15%. I should start a video. I should start a really long video. Like my microphone is a plug-in microphone, and that's, I use that on my new phone, or my new phone, and that's why you get like all the best audio from my main account. And whenever I decide to do like these random audios from my sub account, that's why the audio sounds like this. But anyway, I was trying to get to the 105, which is the maximum. And I wasn't necessarily specifically trying, but I was just shamaning just as much as I could. And at a certain point, I got to pretty close. I want to say I got to 103. We beat Virus. I was like, all right, we're going to do it. We're totally going to do this. We're going to make this happen. Because you have to understand, and I feel like a lot of people that jump into co-op level 15s, what they don't understand is your deck, if you are the offensive deck, if you are going into co-op level 13 and you have an offensive deck and you expect somebody to shaman you, right? Because you don't want to play the game. You don't want to upgrade your cards. You just assume that somebody is going to shaman you. If somebody shamans you and you still can't beat it, that's a you problem. Like, that is a you problem. Like, if I am able to shaman your entire board, like, to the ability that this deck has, that I know that this deck has, like, if I'm able to, like, allow you to sit there and do literally nothing, and shaman the entirety of your board, and we still can't beat level 15 or level 13 co-op, that is a you problem. And if you if you know that you can't beat level 15 with an offensive deck, don't play an offensive deck. Like, if you have shaman, just shaman people. Like, it's very easy, because especially since that's how they built the system now. If you are running a full support deck, and don't run Reaper. For some reason, they don't want to change Reaper to support. For some reason, they believe that Reaper is an attack deck, as an attack card. So if you run a full support deck, but you have a Reaper in it, it'll classify it as an offense deck. And then you'll be paired up with somebody who is also support. So it'll be two support decks supporting each other. But yeah, 105 is max. He has 100 merge ranks right now. Again, he has a level 13 with like 2,500 crit. And I've shamaned him to 100 merge ranks. But because the rest of his cards aren't contributing to more offense for him, including his hero, we do not make it past Assassin. That is where we die. Spoiler alert, but I trust that you already saw that ahead of time. He even gets downgraded, with Monkey King. And I was like, oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. There's not much more that I can help him with. And you can argue that I should have been running Witch and Clock. I should have been a better support deck. It's like, dude, if you have a level 13 Demon Hunter and 100 merge ranks and you can't beat 13, that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. And this is why the top tier decks are the top tier decks. It's because everything in their deck, every support card that is doing the job of what this deck is doing is also contributing to attack damage. And that's why it's so important. It may not seem important in individual pieces, like a Dryad giving you plus 50% if you get to 20 stacks, or the Summoner giving you crit percentage and damage, or the Gift of the Raven on Witch. But all of it working together, using the best damage dealer in this game, it does a lot. And running anything other than Trickster does a lot. And that's why the support cards in this deck are are in every deck. It's because those are the support cards that with talents are giving you your main damage dealer attack bonuses. It's not just a Harley Quinn. It's not a Fairy of Growth Dryad. Those aren't doing enough. And specifically taking those out of your deck, not changing a fairy to a Fairy of Rage, not having Summoner at 13 or 15, not running Chemist or Trapper or something that adds to your damage, this is what happens. You have a level 13 Demon Hunter with 102 stacks and it can't beat 13.